morning, viewers. Welcome to another exciting episode of Your View. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown, and this is Your View. Ladies, good morning.
Hi.
I never do this alone. I have my lovely co-host here with me. How are you doing, Jumoke? What's with the Queen
good.
Elizabeth wave?
I spent my day yesterday after getting home going through the internet, seeing all sorts of things that are happening across Nigeria. NAFDAC woke up, EFCC woke up. Baba, now that you are here.
So people are waking up. But we need to talk about our story. It was pretty interesting. So let's gather a bit more facts, and hopefully we can deal with it next week. It's very juicy.
I've been
Very
eating
juicy indeed.
maggots.
Let's jump over to Uwa. How you doing, Uwa?
Right. I think it's a blessing to be a blessing. When you give,
Yeah, you feel good.
oh, you feel good. And, you know, this fuel scarcity, it just occurred to me that I've not really gone through the headache of, you know, just yesterday, a good friend of my husband called him up and almost 100 liters of fuel. And it was for free. So, I'm just blessed. And
Is he a marketer that we need to go
I
and arrest?
don't know, please.
Is he the one that easy stop stealing money?
Yeah, no,
I
forget
think
it.
he hair
So
because
why is saying that she blessed me with
You know,
can I have like
when you
can I have like 50 liters?
You know, they again.
see better. Want to divide this into two.
I want to slash it in half.
Unfortunately, it has entered all the tanks for the boy.
100 liters.
Thank you. You know yourself. So thank you so much.
May I say that the spirit of giving that pounced on you this
I'm
week.
telling
May
you.
it not depart from you.
Amen.
Let me jump to Nima. How you doing, Nima?
My day was wonderful yesterday. I went on an excursion somewhere in the Sherry North. I saw artesian water, a kind of water different from spring that, you know, gushes out mineral water rich in zinc, rich in copper. This kind of water abroad is very expensive, but here it's just like every table water.
Okay.
We don't value good things, but I
So
hope
definitely,
to work
hopefully
on
we
them.
can bring the owner of this place
Yeah.
and have a chat with
It's quite
him.
interesting, the story.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I like to, very little.
And he loves our show.
He's addicted to the
Like
show. He knows
he's
all the
really
ladies
addicted
by
to
name.
We're excited to meet you
Jumoke,
too.
Uwa,
So one of
and,
these days, come and see you. All right, very good. We have a fantastic package. Remember last week we started the we talked about anger
management,
with Olushola, with
Larry
Larry
Olushola
Olushola and
Dundun Peter Side.
Yeah. But this week we're talking depression. So we have some experts in the house who's going to answer our questions on depression. So if you know anybody who's depressed, please tell them to tune in. But first, we'll look at the front pages of the newspapers. Okay, let's start with the Punch. Major headline: Amechi jank others shun new government inauguration. Wow, and Lamido Shema fly out of Nigeria. Security beefed up in Abuja for Buhari. I was a motor park tout, says Benue governor-elect. Petrol sells at 110 naira at depots. Supreme Court affirms Aregbesol's victory. Court bars NDLEA from unlawful extradition of Kashamu. Thunderstorm kills 3 sisters, 1 pupil in Kwara. I won't forgive Wike unless justice is done, says Amechi. First Bank MD Onasonya to retire in December. And don't single me out for probe, Jonathan tells Buhari. We'll talk about that a bit, maybe in some, because all over the papers. Let's talk about the fact that Amechi, what story you want to pick
No, I was
up?
thinking the motor park tout, the
governor-elect
in Benue State. I read the
yes.
story, it's very interesting. He was saying that at some point in his life, like he had to drop out from two, and he made sure that he didn't involve himself with criminal activities. He stayed hardworking, and that even when, you know, the PDP tried to, you know, disrupt his, what's it called, his mandate and all that, that he strongly believes in God and also in hard work. I think it's a very
So he's an
juicy
APC guy.
It's an inspirational story.
It's an inspirational story for
those people right
yeah,
now.
that are aspiring to,
Exactly.
you know, to
who
also
are not even at the same level, who believe that you have to be a rich man's child, or, you know,
Yes.
of, you know,
it's a
silver
real
spoon
story of
to
grass
achieve
to
greatness.
grace. Yeah.
Fantastic, good. Petrol, 110, who has that story?
Yeah,
that one,
I do.
that we are interested in.
The
that
fuel
one.
tax, no, you know, because DPR has been shouting that they want fuel stations to sell at
87
naira per litre. And the fuel tankers that go to load at the depot, they say that they buy between 99 naira and 110 naira per litre. So how is it possible? And ideally, they're supposed to get it at 82 naira per litre for them to be able to sell at that 87 naira per litre. So you can, because yesterday, what happened yesterday when we went to the fuel, we went to one fuel station on the express. The man just was squeezing his face, 150.
Yeah,
and I told my husband, I said, no, I've never bought more than 87 naira during this fuel scarcity. It's not now I will start it. Now that it has even eased up. And that was how God brought the 100 liters that we got. Okay. So I think DPR needs to, they can't just give that rules without checking the source.
That number is disputable. They could be saying it and it could also be a lie, you know, it could be false. Because yesterday, you know, I was looking for fuel, I still got at 100 naira per litre. Yesterday.
So maybe not
it's
all
still
of
more.
them.
It's still more than 87 naira.
It's still more than 87 naira.
I didn't buy at the depot. If those people had bought at the depot at 110 or, you know,
they said between 90.
No, they said between 99.
At 90, they won't sell at that price.
Let's just hope that after this week, everything will go back to normal by next week.
Let's
just now that Baba is here.
And Baba will be coming by tomorrow, right? This Baba is even out of the country.
Hey, well, Baba should come back.
No, Baba is arriving today.
He's arriving today.
For the inauguration tomorrow.
The Nation. Let's see. Jonathan to Buhari, extend probe to Obasanjo. Others. I believe that anybody calling for probe must ensure that these probes are extended beyond the Jonathan administration. Otherwise, it will be witch hunting. First Bank, okay, we talked about that one. That's had to retire in December. Oshomole asked Okonjo-Iweala to account for $30 billion excess oil cash. President to sign amended constitution. Lawan promises to build on Senate stability. President distracted us, says Tambuwal at valedictory. All right. So then what do you read the Oshomole story?
And I was very interested though, but I didn't finally.
Oh, you didn't read that?
That she should account. Okay, I'll read it and get back to you tomorrow. I was interested in the
Jonathan story.
Wiki and
Amechi.
And
I didn't see that one here now.
No, it was in Vanguard. Yes.
Next paper. Don't limit probe to my government, says Jonathan. I'll talk about that now. Attributes recent fuel scarcity to acts of sabotage. Says Boko Haram attacks became more vicious after his election. Scores his government high in face of many difficulties. You can see the picture here of the president and AIT, DASAT communication bosses. Children's Day tragedy. Lightning kills 3 siblings, 1 other. 14 banks on edge over new cash reserve policy. And top agenda for Buhari, why subsidy must go to that. That's an editorial. All right, let's talk about President Jonathan saying that he should Buhari should.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it a plea, an advice, or a confession? Which one?
It's an advice and a plea, not a confession.
But when you say probe past governors and you named Obasanjo and all the way to the 16 years, you know, then you know there are issues there.
Can I say something?
May I establish the story to say he was saying yesterday that he doesn't mind being probed, but that the probe shouldn't stop at his own desk, that he should extend it to the Obasanjo tenure, and anything as outside of that will be witch hunting. Because yes, all of us have said corruption and blah blah blah, but he's saying that yes, corruption has been a part of us before he came into the system.
True. And I am saying that the truth is that where we are now as a country, you know, it's going to take a lot of things to go into this nitty-gritty of the situations. I think, in my opinion, President-elect Buhari, when he becomes president, should focus on key issues, key areas that he would now say, these are the areas he's isolating to probe. Do you understand? Because if you want to start digging and digging, we will not finish digging. Because it didn't take one term or one person's reign to get to where we are. So it's all, you know.
But I was saying that he should go arresting people now. Like,
he has to now. There are some people that have to go to jail.
But there are some people saying that he should just focus on the job.
Probing is very important and it's going to take a lot of work. But it shouldn't be his primary focus.
Yes.
Now, with the comment that the president is saying, I see it as a confession. Saying that, because he had come out at one time to say there was a cabal, they are in my government, Boko Haram sponsors are in my government. Every time he comes out and makes comment like that, and then he comes back and says, okay, people took it out of context. Now you're saying, if you want to probe, go all the way back. I have aided at one point or the other. That is me adding my own. I've aided at one point or the other corruption or all these things you are trying to probe. That is me adding my own.
All right, moving on to Daily Sun.
That's Nima's interpretation.
No, the Thunder case, please.
Oh yeah, the lightning kills 3 children.
Okay, it's still on the front page of Sun.
Okay. No, that one is not lightning, no.
No, the lightning.
Let's talk about the lightning because you've obviously confused the stories now. So let us go
somewhere in
back.
Kwara State, Guru village, 4 children were killed by lightning during the storm yesterday. Wow. The lightning struck the wall of the house, fell on them. The children have been buried according to Islamic rites, and so survivors have been taken to the hospital.
So the houses don't have thunder arrest.
You have
That's what we're saying now.
Rules
of what's it called? Building, the building rights and codes and all that. They should actually go and what's it called? Inspect most of these houses, because if you look at the buildings, if you look at buildings now in Lagos State, for instance, that are going undergoing constructions, you will see that they are beginning to adhere to certain rules and regulations that were not there before. So I think it's what's it called? People should the people that what's it called?
But they didn't say in the story that the house was a brick house.
Let's move on to Daily Sun. I think we're spending too much time on this.
Is it a mud house?
I think so.
But it was a tragedy, and I just pray that families can find some kind of solace in this whole.
Then we should find solution too.
So moving on to Daily Sun. Jonathan to Buhari, probe all past governments. We talked about that already. Children's Day tragedy, another one. Woman stabs 3-year-old son to death. 11 die in a lorry auto crash. Constitution Amendment, Presidency, National Assembly resolve dispute. Buhari's inauguration, John Kerry, others arrived today. At last, President sends confab reports to National Assembly.
To do what with?
Now remember the issue now, now he has finally sent it for them to implement.
So you think that Buhari is going to implement this national confab?
Why would shouldn't he? Everybody's pushing for him to do that.
Jumoke, how much is the confab again?
7 billion.
Ushe.
Oh, sorry, and then they extended it by 1 month. They didn't tell us how much that was.
Building something or nothing leads to this kind of. We said at that time.
About that matter, please.
Start confab based on law. Put it, base it on something, and then we'll
Listen, you're talking about the 7 billion, but now he has said, here, implement. Is that not what he was supposed to do?
How?
Implement what?
The confab, the reports, the recommendations.
I've heard you. Do you know
when they have already amended the constitution and they are already in court disputing over the amendments?
And he has signed off for them to amend the constitution. Remember, he signed off also. All right.
Morayo, there are 40 people in this picture.
Okay.
Federal Executive Council. Why do we need 40 of them? Why?
Well, that's not our hot topic for today, because I know they said that the president-elect wants to do only 19
plus himself, and that would be just 21.
21. Okay, we'll see how
Children's
that
Day tragedy. This lady stabbed her 3-year-old child with a knife.
Why?
Because the child, well, we don't know why, but the child is an incestuous child from her own father.
What does that mean?
Yeah, incest. Her father slept with her, and that's how they had this child.
Is it incest? Incest, well, but the report I read was that she was raped by her dad. And that child was incest.
Yeah.
Okay, rape. I thought it was more grievous. That was, and I think it's a psychological matter, because she stabbed that child 3 times in the head. I saw the
why? Because
graphic report.
How old is this child again?
3-year-old. So it's just I should think. Well, we're discussing depression today. They will our guests will explain what must have gone wrong with her.
Situation. Yes. Okay. Our last paper for this morning, The Guardian. You can see the picture of our president. Oh, inside Jonathan's Aso Villa. Let me read this quote. It says, as president leaves for Otueki tomorrow, investigations about our reporters have revealed how his strange style has defined ordinariness of his presidency and the simplicity that some of his aides have artfully exploited to pollute the sanctity of the State House. Meaning that all the wrath you're seeing is not our president's fault, but the fault of his aides, because they have taken advantage of his ordinary.
Please, paraphrasing. Let me tell you what the article said. This your paraphrasing, no work. They are just trying to give him a soft landing by saying that he's a simple man, even from the way he dresses. And that, in fact, you can notice from that, he accepted defeat after the general elections. So he's a man of honor.
Jumoke, can I say something, Brian?
No, you can't say something.
I have to say something. You know you will not let me say something.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, the truth is that a true leader would not push, what's it called, failures on other people. A true leader will accept that this is, you know, don't be pointing to say that
He
it's
didn't,
the age.
see, you're missing the point.
What is
He
it? What
wasn't- He didn't say that.
Oh, who said it?
Somebody,
It's a
another person
report.
was, being,
Someone
was
is
saying,
reporting,
was
yes.
somebody was reporting this.
So
You see, the man
you
is
see,
just going
forget,
home to
forget.
Brian.
Brian.
Somebody else now
If
say-
somebody else says it on my behalf, I will tell them no. Don't say that. Correct
Oh,
it.
but this
How would
is
he
just
know
in
that
the
they're going to put it on the
newspaper
front page?
now.
To help
How long
Uwa,
will
to
you
help
do it?
Uwa, this morning when he
Please,
talked
let the
about
man
the
go in
probe
peace, I beg.
beyond my administration, he also praised and took
Let the man go to
denied
Turkey
responsibility for
and have a
false
good
casting.
time.
May I help their
Go and help
argument
them here, help their
by
argument.
saying that the fact that he was simple, but he had friends like Orishe Jaffo that he never caught,
Glamorous.
flying private jets, carrying things.
You're not helping the argument, excuse me. On that note, we end front page review. We also have a clip for you today of, we went to see our, one of our
fan
celebrities,
pick.
our fan pick, sorry.
Our fan
one
pick
of
of the
our
month.
fans.
Yes.
We went to go and see her last week, so we're going to be showing that clip today. Yes. As a fan pick for the month, as we all know, every month we try to visit a fan of YourView. So this month we visited Mrs. Morenike Basharu in her lovely home. Let's take a look at our experience in her house. Hey, we're here with our fan pick of the month, Morenike, who was very good friend. She surprised her this morning, and all the ladies of YourView are here. So how are you feeling at this moment?
Well, I don't know. I'm very surprised.
Did you have an idea?
No idea, absolutely. I'm sure you would have met me right here downstairs because I was downstairs. Then my husband called me that I gave someone an interview appointment at the office. That's why I rushed upstairs too, and I called you immediately to tell you. Then I was on the camera watching you, and just when you were talking to Saydon, what are they talking about? Okay, let me rush into the bathroom and get out. And
Suddenly you're
I wanted to check again, and I was, who are these ones?
Oh, so good to be in your
surprised.
house. Thank you for having us.
Thank
It's a
you for
beautiful
coming.
home.
Thank you
Am I
so
the one
much.
talking? Cool. So obviously, I know the ladies are all excited to see you. You've been watching YourView since the beginning.
Not since the beginning, funny enough. I stumbled on it once or twice, and I didn't know it was YourView. I just liked what I saw.
Yeah.
I saw you then, who I was in there, it was Auntie Yenny. I saw YK, and I watched it. It was interesting. Then I stumbled on it the second time. Then I realized it's a breakfast show. Then I got stuck.
Oh wow.
Then my friend got on it, and each time I just got to give my view, you know. And when I can't get through, I drive down to her store and I go there. I tell her I'm here to give you my own view on the topic.
Okay, there are lots of people who are going through depression, and here in Nigeria, it's not a valid illness. Ah, what's wrong with you? You have a headache. Oh, you don't feel like going out today. Come on, you know. What do you feel about depression in Nigeria? Why Nigerian women are going through depression? What can we do to get out of it?
Well, depression, like you rightly said, I feel people overlook it. They feel it's not a major problem, but it's a major problem because when I was in school, when I was in medical school, I remember there was a woman that had serious depression, that it had become a psychosis. Yeah, and it started from her husband cheating on her. Yeah, and it got so bad that she wanted to drown herself. She didn't know what she was doing. Yes, and when she was in hospital, she was on psychotic drugs, antipsychotic drugs and all that. And there are times she gets up on the bed and she says she's running away. She feels she's running away. She's just hopping, but she says she's running. And it's something that started like that. You know, mild depression, and you just feel what is wrong with you, and and it became chronic. Depression is a serious issue. Yeah, it starts from you and I giving your word. You have a friend that complains about something, just don't sweep it under the carpet. Let's sit down and talk about it.
I know your mom and your mother-in-law are around. Are we going to get to meet them?
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
You know, when you said your mom, I didn't relate it to...
You've changed so many people. I really appreciate what you are doing, people, and God will be blessing you the more. God will give you the strength, and people that is helping you, that make it possible. You will never go down. Amen. You will come up, because people are really gaining there. And, I wish you more luck.
Thank you for coming. Pleasantly surprised. An Advent fan of YourView. Keep up the good work. Okay, what I like about YourView, I need to mention that very quickly. I like the fact that you've done a lot to me, personally. I'm not a news kind of person. I don't know what goes on there. My husband is always like that. You need to listen to, you need to know what's going on. But now I'm the one that will give him the update. That that this, and it's because of YourView. So for that, he allows me, just watch YourView before you make breakfast. It's fantastic. The other thing, yes, then the health thing. I like the now I take garlic every morning. Wow. I don't miss it. Wow. I take garlic and my 2 glasses of water. I do that. Then the moringa, I'm trying to do the moringa as well. It's fantastic. So health, I picked things there. Then the last one you did again, that she spoke about mangoes. Yes. I was so thrilled because I love mango. That's my best food. So now I always have mango. I don't miss it again. So it's amazing. You're fantastic. Then for your Thursdays, I look forward to that because in my room I'm energetic too. Yes. And they're arguing, I'm arguing. I'm pressing my phone, I'm not getting through, I'm upset. So you're doing an amazing thing. It's amazing. Keep up the good work. May God continue to strengthen you, and may you go from strength to strength. And I wish you happy anniversary, because I learned your anniversary is coming up next week. Yes. So wish you happy anniversary. Wish you best of luck. Thank you for coming.
Oh, that was fantastic! We had a great time with her. Yes. She was so excited to see us. And
the good thing about her Mariah, is that, you see, a lot of my friends, I'll be begging them, go and buy and take a watch. She's the only one, she has gotten all the gadgets that is required to make sure that her TV is
clear.
Is very clear.
We're so happy. Thank you so much, Morenike, for having us. But we talked about a serious issue, depression. Yeah. And that's our focus today. Depression is a state of low mood and aversion to activity that can affect a person's thoughts, behavior, well-being. The World Health Organization has predicted that depression will be the second leading killer disease and cause of disability by 2020, and #1 killer disease by 2030. How can we deal with depression? Joining us on the show are 2 life coaches, Mr. Adeboye Martins and Ms. Dukwe Wigwe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So good to have you. So we've spoken about depression a bit, but what exactly is depression? How do you know you're depressed? Who wants to go first? Would you like to go first?
Okay. All right. Like you said earlier, depression affects your feelings, it affects your behavior, it affects everything, right? Now, depression is something that is born in the internal environment, that is within. And like the World Health Organization has rightly said that it would be the #1 killer disease by 2030. It's a mental illness, and it definitely requires help.
Now, what causes depression? How do you get to the state of depression? There's some times where you're upset, you need some time to cool off, and some times where that cooling off now gets off to a point where you're thinking and thinking and thinking. At what point does it tip over and becomes depression? Let me come to you, sir.
Well, I think there are a number of physical enabling conditions that sort of foster depression. But the real key, I think, is from within. As you said, you get upset and then you get out of it. But some people get upset and they don't get out of it, and And again, it could be health, it could be environmental pollution that disposes them sort of temperamentally to focus on whatever negativity they're dealing with. You mentioned earlier women being cheated on by their husbands. I'm sure men being cheated on by their wives, and all kinds of circumstances that bring this to life. But when the person fixes on these things, gets fixated on a negative, unpleasant incident in their lives, and they don't get out of it, they keep thinking, digging themselves deeper and deeper into it. It then becomes a factor that overwhelms their internal environment, conditions it, and they're depressed.
How do we detect it in people around?
Sorry.
Okay, please.
Right, I just wanted to add to what he said. You know, you're fixated, yes, the person gets fixated, then interprets it in a certain way. It's that interpretation that brings about the depression. Because you can be fixated on it and
you're looking for solutions.
And you're looking for solutions. But in this case, you're not looking for solutions. So it's that interpretation that brings about the depression.
So how do we detect it in people?
Well, mostly in behavioral changes. But even then, it's not easy, you know, because depression is like being in solitary confinement. And a lot of people around you may not know, because it has nothing really to do with your standard of living. Some of the people I've met who are depressed, I met somebody on a university campus, obviously a very good-looking young lady, obviously very popular, and I was holding a seminar for the young people. And during a break, she came up to me and she told me, listen, I have a problem. I said, what? She said, I've never known happiness in my life. And I said, what, you know, family back? No. Family's lovely, my parents love me, I get on with my siblings, but people get happy and jump around, they're joyful, but it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand what it is to be happy. And that's just one example. Another one, interestingly, I was telling Dupe, I was talking with this young person last night, and she also comes from a very loving family background, looks like a happy person, has some liveliness in her, very active. And one day she came to my office and explained to me that she is really depressed.
How did she know?
In that kind of situation, what do you do? I mean, like, what do you tell someone like that?
Well, in her case, I made it clear that, first of all, we make our own human experience. As I said, there can be enabling factors for such conditions like the health, your state of health. And that's why it's very important to look after your health proactively. But it really comes from your own inner direction. Now, the thing is that her family did not know. And when she did try to express it to one or two, they said, wow, snap out of it. You know, just what you said, snap out of it. You're just a little down, you get up. But she wasn't getting up. So eventually, on her own, she went to see a psychiatrist. And she's on medications now. And we're also talking, I'm helping her as a coach, you know, from time to time.
So, sorry, please. You talked about medications. I have a very close family friend who suffered from a kind of depression, and fortunately, he was abroad at the time. And he, you know, he took some medications. But when he got back here, the side effects of the medication was too strong. So family members of his advised to stop the medication. So how long must he go on them? And is there any, you know, danger in stopping them?
Only a doctor can really answer those questions in each individual case. But it is generally known, it's often discussed, that many of these medications have really, really bad side effects. Some of them can, in individual cases, exacerbate the very state they're trying to heal. But only a doctor is really competent, preferably a psychiatrist, is really competent to both prescribe and to advise when somebody should go off medication.
Yeah, could I also add to that that when the family were talking about him being able to go off it, and even if a doctor is going to say be able to go off it, the thing is, to go off the medication, the person needs to now be able to cope. So you can't leave the meds without that being firmly in place. So that's what's really important. So for anybody who is trying to go off the meds, there is a need to either be actively involved in counseling or coaching, but something that equips you with those resources that were absent before.
All right, Uwa.
I have a, I go in and out of moods. Like I have very strong mood swings, and I observed that, or rather it was my husband that observed that probably when I'm about to go through my monthly circle, most times I'm always agitated. And I notice also that I can't survive when the house is cluttered, when there's a lot of clutter. You know, I just start getting angry and all that. Sometimes I just sit on my bed, I'm saying that, like, I don't feel like going anywhere. And I know that those are like slight signs of depression, you know. So how do I help myself, you know, come out of those kind of situations?
Okay, before we answer that question, let me take Modupe's call. Good morning, Modupe. Are you there?
Yes, morning.
Morning. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
I want to ask, how can you detect depression in kids?
In children?
And kids be depressed?
Okay. Fantastic question. Thank you so much. So we have two questions. Which one do you want to take first?
I'll start with hers, right? The first thing you can do is to practice self-awareness. So when you talk about, oh, when the house is cluttered, it starts to get to me. There's an interpretation that you have for that clutter. That's why it can get to you. If you didn't have that interpretation, you'd go through that clutter and it wouldn't mean anything. So there's an interpretation for it. You need to, you know, get in touch with that. What am I interpreting this clutter as, right? Now, again, this is important for all women, I mean, because, you know, okay, your monthly circle, how do I handle it, this and that. Once again, is to practice that awareness. Most people are regular, some are not, but you sort of have an idea when it's coming up. You know, notice when it's about to start and the changes that you go through. Sometimes a change of diet could help. Sometimes it's exercise. Sometimes it's rest. But if we are aware and we put those things in place, then it doesn't have to disrupt our lives as much as, you know, as it does sometimes.
Depression in children.
All right. Okay, I'll...
Want to take that?
Depression in children, yes. Well, usually you'll first observe depression in a child, in any human being, through change in their behavior. And especially children should be monitored, you know, when they're normal, when they're a bit naughty, full of beans and all that, then you know they're okay. But if they deviate from what you're used to, then you need to begin to question. But especially with people who may be in a pre-depression state or in depression, you need to be very gentle with the questioning. And if you know you're not good at that, I would advise get somebody else, somebody who has good communication with that particular child. It could be a family member, or take them to professional help.
Mrs. Lawanson, good morning. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good
Please
morning.
Go ahead. Morning.
Hello?
Morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah. This is an interesting topic because I want to contribute a little bit.
Go ahead.
Because myself, I have experienced it. When I gave birth, I think after 8 days or thereabouts, I had depression, and they said it was a postnatal depression.
Yeah.
But one thing about depression is that it comes with something. Because then, I just woke up. I was told in my mind that some people were coming to attack me. So from there, I had fear. From fear, it got to depression. I was so depressed. I went to hospital, and my baby was just 9 days old. But they couldn't help me. And there's one thing I want to point out here. It has to do with spiritual. Because at times, you will just, something will tell you your mind, this is going to happen to you. Like I have a sister-in-law in Dublin. She gave birth also, and something attacked her mind that she was going to die. And before you know it, she became so depressed that she went to hospital about 3 times on admission. Until she was able to call me.
Thank you.
I started talking to her.
Thank you. You've asked the two things you've mentioned now. The postnatal and also the spiritual angle where we say, oh, is this, maybe they're talking to me from the village.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first?
Okay, yeah, I'd like to go with that. Before I do though, quickly, I want to add a bit more to the one about the children, you know, getting depressed, right? When you notice a child sleeping too much or not sleeping enough, maybe walking around in the night when they ordinarily should be sleeping, and you're wondering what is going on with them, or this sense of hopelessness. When they speak, you will pick it from their speech. You know, what's the use? what's the use, mommy? Why bother? When you start hearing such things regularly from the child, it's a signal that you need to sit that child down.
That brings me to my question. How young can a child be before you spot it? Because honestly, I notice some tendencies. When I come back from work, my daughter's nanny is always saying that when I leave early in the morning and she wakes up sometimes, she doesn't want her to carry her or touch her. Then she goes to a particular corner they've shown me, she'll just fold herself and be there. And she'll tell you, leave my room, at what age?
But honestly, what we do know now that it's happening at very, very young ages, right? And that is definitely a clear signal for you. You need to sit her down, you need to talk to her. You need to start paying a lot more attention. We don't need it to get out of hand before we pay attention. This is time for you to, really sit up. Maybe you're being absent from the house anytime she wakes up is something, and that's her own way of reacting to it. But it's time to you need to know.
I think I have a call. I'm trying to, is she there, Mrs. Arowolo?
Yes.
Please go ahead, please. I know you have to have the postnatal question, so
yes.
and I also take this one. Yes, go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you, ladies, I'm enjoying your program. I love you guys so much.
Thank you.
Nima, you're wonderful.
Thank you.
Morayo, you're wonderful.
Thank you.
And my friend, also,
something. You have a question? We have very little time, please.
Yes, I just wanted to add this, that loneliness can also lead to depression.
Okay.
Because for me, at times when I'm lonely, I feel depressed. I think a lot of challenges I go through, and so the best thing is when you notice that you are always depressed, the best thing for you is to avoid being lonely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Postnatal depression.
Yes, postnatal depression. Again, why do women get depressed after they've just had a baby? It's supposed to be your happiest period, isn't it? And then one gets depressed. Again, because it's something so huge and something so unusual. Sometimes the thoughts behind it could be, now what? What if, like this responsibility, this huge responsibility, as women, you can relate to that. So, and all of a sudden you're doubting your own abilities. You're feeling alone. You're feeling as if you can't cope. You're feeling vulnerable. And that can start this downward spiral into depression. Yeah. Now, she talked about going to hospitals and not being able to receive help. Because of this feedback that we're getting that this happens regularly, antenatal care could involve part of this, building people's ability to self-regulate during and after pregnancy, right? And then after the birth of the child as well, right? There needs to be some form of help. Now that we know that this happens, and that it happens regularly, especially in our society, it definitely creates an opportunity for hospitals to enlarge their scope.
Okay, I want us to go to the issue of the spiritual angle. Where people always assume that, it's a demon that is talking to you, or somebody is telling you to go and jump over the region, and now go try to cast it out and all that. Forget, not looking at the medical angle. Can you address that, please?
Yeah. The power of demons and witches and witchcraft and all that is directly related to how insecure we are, how much we harbor fears within ourselves. And there is a lot that happens in society that stimulates fear in people. But the key thing to remember is that, yes, something may be frightening, but you have to accept to be frightened. A lot of training, military training, such things, is actually to help people control their feelings so that in a crisis situation they do not react with fear. And every individual can help themselves in that regard, or can be helped by others to avoid reacting with fear, to avoid fostering fear.
Fear that causes us to assume the demons.
Fear, insecurity that makes us susceptible to that suggestion.
Mr. Goodluck. Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I lost that call already.
I have a question. There's under the subtypes of depression, there is melancholic depression. Now, I am melancholic, but I'm not a depressed person. So how do we address this? Because people think that people who are perfectionists like I am are depressed.
Certainly not. There are different kinds of temperaments. There's the melancholic, there's the phlegmatic,
sanguine,
there's the sanguine, there's the choleric. Yes. So that's just your way of reacting to the world. Now, you can have a melancholic person who is very happy, you know.
That's me.
And it looks like you, yes. And you can have one that is very sad, maybe to the point of depression. You see, again, it brings us back to the point that it's our decision. It's our choices. It's what how we interpret the world around us, our experience that determines.
All right. So what's the danger of suppressed depression, where it's suppressed? You don't even know it. And you see, I know somebody very close to me who, let Uwa go first. I need to construct this question properly.
My question is, for me, my kind of personality, I always look forward to something. As soon as I get that done, the goal has been achieved. I'm now thinking, oh my goodness, I'm confused. Like, so most times after I achieve a major something major, I just fall right back. I'm like wondering, like, so my husband is always saying that always keep a goal ahead of you, you know, to make sure that you're pursuing something to, you know, so you don't get, you know, that feeling of that. If people that are depressed are people that are not looking forward to something. Can you help me out with that?
I'd like to say something there. I think your husband is saying he's doing a good job.
I think God brought him to my life.
and you know, yes, you have to keep moving. Yeah. And that's life, you know. You stand still, you begin to stagnate. And that is basically the principle behind depression. So if you keep moving, if you can look for even bigger long-term goals, which you can now break down to smaller goals, so that once you've achieved something, there's still more ahead of you. You just keep moving, and a coach can help you do that.
Now,
you might want to check out maybe Dupe as a coach if your husband hasn't got enough time.
Yeah. Sorry, before you do, let me just quickly add to that, right? It's very good to have goal, and I definitely agree with Ade that you need that goal. You also need, in addition to that, to be able to pause and celebrate yourself.
Which is what I do. Wisdom.
So that's very, very key.
I have
a
question. Okay, go ahead.
When you said earlier about the person you know that said she's never known happiness, I could almost relate to that. And it struck a chord when you spoke. And it's because, for me, I'm an accomplisher. I take in a lot of my family. I make sure I do everything I'm supposed to do as a mother, as a wife, make sure the home is right. My job, I'm very focused on my job to make sure I do what I'm supposed to. Tell me what I'm supposed to do, and I do it right. And I make sure I do it. But when I look within, I always feel like I'm not there yet. And when you ask me what's your hobby, I'm like, I have no hobby. What do you like to do? I can't pick out one thing. I haven't found that. I've not seen that joy or that happiness thing. So I can almost relate to that. You can't just see me having a great time, laughing and having a ball. I don't have it. It doesn't just come to me. But I see myself exerting energy to make sure everything around me is in place. Am I depressed?
I don't think you're necessarily depressed. I think, and I'd like to hear what Dupe says on this as well, I think you might not be fully aware of your deeper value system. You're not fully aware of what is most important to you in life. So you're a gifted person, got a very good education, well-trained, so almost anything you do comes easy to you. But what is really important to you? And I think you might have to follow a path of inquiry to find out what really are the values that really drive your life. And that's where you can begin to...
Does she need a session with you?
She's welcome.
Let me take Yakub's call. Good morning, Yakub. Are you there?
I'm there. Mariah, good morning.
Morning. Please go ahead.
Honestly speaking, I cannot be able to feel you people due to power issue.
Yes.
But I do follow on Twitter. But quickly, let me just say something, because I know that by now you have resumed the paper finish, and then even the program is almost finished. See, there's a headline this morning saying that President Jonathan advising incoming government that if you want to probe, you should start from 1960. So ironically, that's my own personal opinion. He's trying to telling us that he's corrupt. So if he says that if you want to probe him, you should start from 1960. This is my own advice to general. It should not start from 1960. It should start from now, from Jonathan. It should start so that we know where we are heading to. Good morning. God bless you all.
All right, back to the matter.
Sorry, I wanted to say a quick question. Now, Nigeria, we know all the things that are happening in Nigeria.
Yes.
How do you keep yourself happy? Because what he said, a lot of things we've been following up on, you know, sometimes I read the newspapers and I'm depressed because of what I see. So how do you stay happy?
Right. Again, you need to be aware that you are reading these things. Now, it's your interpretation that causes you to be unhappy. These things are just news.
Okay.
All of us will interpret it in different ways. However, the way you interpret it is what is going to cause unhappiness. So that automatically says that we have an opportunity here to choose how we're going to interpret it. Because you could be totally associated with it, get very upset. Some people call in, they are upset. I hear people on air even having to tell them, calm down, breathe, breathe, calm down. That's how disturbed they get. Now, you can imagine for that person, would the rest of the day necessarily be pleasant after that outburst? Probably not. Has it changed the situation in Nigeria? No, it hasn't.
So you just...
Seriously, we all need to learn to self-regulate because it is important for your health. It's important for the experiences you even get in the course of your day.
Wow. I was going to go into bipolar, but I see that we're running out of time. I would like to take one question from Twitter, though. Folabi Adebaki says, the pressure of living in Nigeria can be depressing. How do we raise awareness of psychiatric health of Nigerians?
Yeah, a lot of people. I think let's take a few more questions on Twitter so that we can take it once and for all.
Okay.
Okay, someone says, Temilola says, sometimes dealing with depression, also you need to have a confidant that you can share your feelings with, not necessarily your husband. Is it true? Sure, must.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. No, that's it. That's on depression.
Yeah.
So the awareness of having a psychiatrist, or when you see when someone says I'm depressed, they automatically think you're going mad, you're going crazy, and they go to tell you to go to Arrow or something.
Go to kilometer 46.
Yeah, the mentality is either you go to kilometer 46 or you go to Arrow. But is there a more easier way to help somebody going through that instead of going to the two extremes?
Yes, yes. Well, we talked about coaching, right? We've talked about counseling as well. Now, the different support systems, support networks that we have in Nigeria, talk about faith-based institutions, need to start actively working with professionals. Our hospitals need to start actively working with professionals. So without going to all those places that you mentioned, I can go to my regular hospital and get a session. You know, that would really help. And most of them actually meet a lot of people who are depressed. And after that, what next? But this definitely creates an opportunity for us as a nation to start doing certain things differently.
And I would like to add to that people need education about depression, to know it exists, to know it is dangerous, it can be deadly. And it's not just, and it is not necessarily that the person is insane, you know. So there's a broad spectrum of it, and people need to be aware of that and know where they can go to for help.
Thank you so much for coming. I think we learned quite a bit on the show today. Thank you so much. We had a great show. I think this depression would have actually made us really
part 2.
Go and book a session. Don't find out I'll book a session with them. Thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to watch Your View repeat broadcast at 11:30 p.m. tonight. Actually, Your View is going to be 2 years tomorrow. But we're not going to be on live because we're going to be showing the inauguration. Our news team will have the airtime all throughout tomorrow showing the inauguration. So we'll see you post inauguration when Baba finally arrives. Hey, all right. So see you Monday. God bless you. Take care. Have a lovely weekend. And Baba, see you, Baba.